Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar on maths and its real-time applications. My name is Ravali and I'm a part of team here at Turito. I'm joined here by our today's speaker, Mr. Vasu and Ms. Priyanka from Student Counselor Department. This webinar is an outreach program by Turito for students who to help in developing their learning skills and for parents who are willing to give their children best education. Before we start off, let me give a quick intro about our organization. Turito is an innovative edtech platform with a vision to provide quality education to every student by well-experienced faculty. And currently, Turito is available in USA, Canada, Middle East, India, Singapore, and Australia regions. And programs offered by Turito are NAPLAN OC and one-on-one tutoring services for math, science, and English subjects in Australia region. Turito is different from other edtechs which are currently existing because Turito offers interactive learning methods as per students' requirements, regular assessments to track the child progress, and also doubt clarification sessions for making concepts stronger. Turito also provides parent app access to make you a part of child learning journey. Moreover, we have top 2% certified educators whom we partnered with to envision our mission. Before getting into the specific, let me offer a quick intro about our speaker at today's event. Mr. Vasu is a holder of Masters of Mathematics and Bachelor of Education with 30 years of experience in education industry. He is an IIT Foundation course content preparation expert and mentored 80,000 plus IIT qualifiers and 4,000 plus SAT and ACT scorers. Thank you, sir. And before starting the session, and all the parents and students who have joined the session, please feel free to drop your questions at Q&A section. We have Q&A session before ending the webinar. We shall be answering all the queries during Q&A session. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, a warm welcome to everyone who have joined. Now, first of all, the introduction to mathematics. So mathematics is a powerful tool that helps understand the world. It encourages logical reasoning, critical and creative thinking, and problem-solving ability. And coming to the origin of mathematics originated from the Greek word meaning tendencies to learn. Multiple branches, numbers, geometric forms, algebra, and others. The maths is very helpful in daily life, like the study of measurements, numbers, and space. Maths plays a vital role in all aspects of daily life. Example, time tracking, driving, cooking, or jobs like accounting, finance, banking, engineering, software. Now, maths is not just arithmetic. Maths is often about thinking very clearly about relationships and structure, often about measurable things. Anyone can be a mathematician if one is given proper guidance and training in the formative period of one's life. A good curriculum of mathematics is helpful in effective teaching and learning of the subject. Experience says learning mathematics can be made easier and enjoyable if our curriculum includes mathematical activities and games. Emphasis should be laid on development of clear concept in mathematics in a child right from the primary grades. As it is believed that the process of learning is complete if your sense of hearing is accompanied by our sense of sight. Now, moving forward into the journey of mathematics, right from lower grades, understanding basic concepts in lower grades. Now, this is very important for a student who is from the primary grade coming into the middle school level. Now, he has to understand about number system. Now, what do you have in number system? In number system, you have what are natural numbers, what are whole numbers, what are integers, what are rational numbers, what are irrational numbers, and comes the biggest system, that is the complex number system in higher grades. So after learning about rational numbers and irrational numbers, he will understand about what are real numbers, and then comes the biggest system, that is complex numbers. This comes in the higher grades. He has to understand what is complex numbers. Generally, root of -1 is nothing but iota or the imaginary unit. So that's where the thinking starts. What is root of a negative number? Root of -1, root of -4, what it is. Then in lower classes, he has to understand about what do you mean by absolute value, what is additive inverse, what is additive identity, what is multiplicative inverse, what is multiplicative identity. All these things he has to learn, because anything in the lower grades, the foundation, if it is strong, he can understand. And coming to number system also, in number system, you must know what are even and odd, the prime numbers, what are prime numbers, what are composite numbers. And between 1 to 100, you have 25 prime numbers. So at least we must know the 25 prime numbers. What are they? So when you come to zero, zero is neither positive nor negative. This is a basic concept. It's a neutral number, but zero is an even number. In number theory, it is used as an even number because every integer multiplied by 2 is nothing but an even number. So 0 into 2 is 0, that is an even number. Now again, algebra will be introduced. In algebra, you must know what is an expression, what is an equation, what do you mean by an expression, what do you mean by an equation, what are variables, what are coefficients, what are constants. All these things he has to understand whenever algebra is introduced, and properties of addition and properties of multiplication in algebra. Now, why I'm saying a strong foundation means when a teacher explains to a student that plus times plus is plus, plus times minus is minus, minus times plus is minus, and minus times minus is plus. How? Why? All this reasoning must be there in lower classes when a teacher tells him all these things. Next, moving forward, now how to develop skills in fast calculations. Now see, the additions or the subtractions or the multiplications and divisions, the operations which we use in lower classes with numbers, that is, you are playing with numbers. Now one has to understand to 2 what you add so that you get 10, or for 3 what you add, you get 10. Like that, you must go with what number must be added to 37 to get 100. So all these skills he has to develop in addition, addition of single digit, addition of double digit, addition, subtraction, everywhere, multiplication. Even in multiplication, some tips and tricks you must know. For example, 25 into 17 is there. We know that 25 into 4 is 100. So 25 into 16, if you take, this is 400 because it is 25 into 4 into 4. That is 400. So 125 is extra. So you must know that this is 425. So how to break the number, how to round the numbers, this understanding must be there in the student. That is the skill he has to develop in fast calculations. And moving forward, understanding the correlation in some concepts. Now, how to understand the correlation in some concepts means like you have fractions, decimals, percentages. Now, these can be correlated. All these three can be correlated in the lower grades when it is understood. Now, for example, if I say percentage, decimal, fraction. Now, once if you understand that 25%, what is 25%? 0.25. As a fraction, it is 1/4, or 33 1/3%. This is 0.33 recurring, or it is understood as 1/3. So like that, if you know the relationships, that is correlation between these. Now, as moving forward to the higher grades, now if he moves to higher grades, he will understand the correlation between functions and calculus. And see, none of the mathematics chapter can be deleted. For example, if a student knows trigonometry and algebra, then he can move with differentiation. He can go with the differential equations. So everywhere the subject is correlated. So that's why one has to know all the subjects in mathematics, all the topics, wherever it is understood, either from lower classes moving to higher grades. Now, moving forward, what is the need to have skills and short tips in some concepts? Now, see, if you know some skills and short tips, you can do fast calculation in some competitive examinations. For example, NAPLAN is there, or OC is there, or SAT is there. Anywhere, if you want to do, for example, a direct variation is there. Now, direct variation means for 120 calories, you have a fat of 72, let us suppose. Then for 100 calories, what is the fat? So this is a direct variation. So this must be understood. Fast calculation must be done here also. For example, a linear equation is given 2x plus 5 equal to kx plus 5. If somebody says that this is having infinite number of solutions, then k must be 2, he must know. Otherwise, you have equation like 2x plus 5 equal to some kx plus 3, no solution if somebody said, then k must be 2. All these things can be understood as a skill or short tips when you understand the concept behind it. Even factorization especially of quadratic. For example, if you have x square plus 4x minus 21, so the student actually is told how to factorize. But when it comes to higher grades, in 9th grade or 10th grade, you must know how to factorize this one. So here x will be there, here x will be there. This is minus 21, this is plus 4. So plus 7 will come here and minus 3 comes here. So directly if he does, this is actually moving forward in higher grades in 10th and 11th, he will understand that this is a parabola. So when it comes to a parabola, where the parabola is cutting, how it is cutting, so where it is cutting, he will identify. If somebody can ask you what is the distance between these two. So from factorization in lower classes to higher grades, parabola thinking will be there. So this is how you must know the skills. Everything will develop only when you know the concepts behind it. Now, moving forward, how to prepare for performing well in competitive examinations. Now, mental calculations gives an answer to, so mental calculations are very important. How fast you can calculate. So if you are strong enough in calculating mentally by reading the problem, understanding the MCQ, multiple choice question, let us suppose if it is given, without waste of time, if you can get the answer by eliminating the options, eliminating the options in the MCQ. So for example, one is I'm doing a problem. I know that very well that the answer is the numerator is less than the denominator, means you are going to get a decimal answer. And only one of the option is showing that it is a decimal answer. Directly, you can avoid that as the answer. So without solving completely also, you can observe that you can define it easily. So eliminating options and having mental calculations, the ability to do fast, then I think in the competitive examinations, many problems can be solved. Competitive examinations, once again, NAPLAN is there, wherein you can have fractions or percentages or any other things. And in higher grades, you have functions chapter, wherein you have how to find the domain and range, or if you have probability or any other concept. So if you are fast in calculating the problem by seeing the MCQ, for example, the slope of a line is there. Slope of a line can be directly analyzed. It is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 when 2 points are given on the line. So if you are fast enough in calculating mentally, you have even the distance formula between 2 points, x1 minus x2 the whole square plus y1 minus y2 the whole square. Let us suppose you got root of 3 square plus 4 square. This is nothing but Pythagoras. So 5. 5 is the answer because 3 square plus 4 square equal to 5 square. These are Pythagorean triplets. At least you must know some Pythagorean triplets. 3, 4, 5. 5, 12, 13. These are the legs. This is the hypotenuse. So 9, 40, 41, 7, 24, 25. At least some of them. And any multiplier of this, let us suppose I'm multiplying here with a 2. Then this will become 6, 8, 10. These are also Pythagorean triplets. So Pythagoras theorem is very important. Pythagoras theorem, actually you have 200 and odd ways of proving Pythagoras theorem. One of the theorem proof is given by the ex-president of US, Gary Field. So like this, many concepts can be analyzed like this. So mental calculations are very much needed, and eliminating the options that will solve problems easily, and there will not be much waste of time in solving a problem. Next, going forward, understanding word problems. Now, this is very important in competitive examinations, especially a word problem will be given to you. In that, a data related question is given. It can be from pertaining to probability, statistics, or you can have algebra, you can have geometry. So anything, word problem first, you have to read the problem, understand the constraints given in the problem, what are the constraints given in the problem, accordingly you can solve. And while moving to the answer, first what question he has asked, read it carefully and move in that particular direction for the solution of the problem. So in our process of approach towards the problem, having a bird's view of the solution in our mind, and that is very much needed. By reading the data only, you will understand, and the way of approach must be it must be smooth so that you can answer it properly. So word problems are they are given so that you digest the problem or with all the constraints which are given in the problem. Next is, this is very important, analyzing graphs. So in some countries, a 10th class, the 10th grade student knows 3,000 graphs. By graphs, you can analyze the solution of a problem. So in graphs, actually, what types of graphs you need is linear graphs you need, quadratic graphs you need exponential graphs, you need logarithmic graphs, you need trigonometric graphs, inverse trigonometric graphs. So if you know all these type of graphs, easily you can draw the graph, understand the graph, and then graphs also tells you whether the function is increasing or decreasing. And it also says that whether it is strictly increasing. So if you have a, for example, sorry, if you have a increasing function, for example, if you have an increasing function or a strictly decreasing function, you can analyze the graph and you can decide whether the function is even in one function or an onto function. Like that, you can think about it. And moving forward, how is mathematics made interesting? Now, maths, you have to love maths. It must be fun. As I told earlier, it must be nothing but the activities and games must be involved in maths so that the teaching becomes easy. And here, giving real life examples for the concepts. Now, real life examples means like must know what is a distributive property, for example, it is there. Now, we know that distributive property is A times B plus C is equal to AB plus AC. Now, here, let us suppose to develop this concept, the best example, real life example you can give to the student is you are distributing 2 chocolates to a class consisting of 10 boys and 5 girls. Then 2 times 10 is 20, and 2 times 10, 5 is 10. So 20 chocolates to boys and 10 chocolates to girls. Total, it will be 30. So if you give a real life example and then come to this concept explanation, then the student really understands the concept very well, and he will be able to give, I ask him another example. What is the other example you can quote based on this? Then you can go with a rectangle, let us suppose. I have a rectangle like this. Now this is 10 is the length. Here the width is 3, let us suppose. Now I break here. This is 7 and this is 3. So then actually 10 times 3 is 30 is the total area. Then you can take this as a 21, 7 times 3, and this is 3 times 3, this is 9. So you can see that the area is distributed here. So actually 21 plus 9, it is 30. So this is again distributive property shown. Now, for example, in lower grades, we teach parallel lines, definition of parallel lines. So my figure doesn't look like that, but the distance between these two, if it is maintained the same, then they are parallel lines, what we say. But when you come to higher education, the definition must be an enlarged definition. So the lines which intersect at infinity are said to be parallel lines. That is how actually the student must be able to understand. Even in lower classes, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, we say that these two are the corresponding angles, they are equal. So this corresponding angles, when he comes to higher grades, when he understands the slope concept, this is nothing but the angle of inclination made same. So that's why these corresponding angles are equal. So if you have, for example, if you have, let us suppose like this, you have flats which have balconies. So you are putting a ladder like this. So all will be making your same angles. So it's nothing but the concept of corresponding angles or angles of inclination, or all the parallel lines make the same slope. So that's how the subject from lower grades to higher grades, it must be understood. Now, even I have one of the concept, actually in geometry, this is a theorem. If you have a circle and if you have a tangent, tangent generally touches at a point. From the center, the line drawn is perpendicular, they say. Now, for this, actually, you have a beautiful theorem where they explain it. But if you think here, the shortest distance from a point to a line is nothing but it is a perpendicular distance. So that's why this is always perpendicular. So you can see that if this is a river, let us suppose you are standing here and you want to walk some nearest distance and you want to touch the water. So you'll go perpendicularly. So this is how the concepts must be understood with interesting facts. If the teacher can explain, so then the students will understand. Even here, some of the misconceptions are there. For example, what is root 64? Generally, this is root of 8 square. So some answer it as plus or minus 8, which is a wrong answer. Only 8 is the answer. So root x square gives you always a positive answer. It is absolute value of x, irrespective of x is positive or negative. So the concepts must be understood. Even when you come to higher grades, 2 over 0 is 2 or 0, the student has a doubt. It is undefined. So these concepts, even this you have, for example, 3 square plus 4 square by 3 plus 4. Really, 3 gets cancelled here, and 1 4 gets cancelled here and there. No. So this is also a wrong concept. So first, if you can understand the misconcepts, then the concept can be understood easily by a student. Moving forward, now learn maths the Turito way. Now, how we are going to learn? So learn concepts with real life examples. That's what I said. So when the concept is told to a student with real life examples, by quoting real life examples, he will forget the concepts. Engaging and active teaching and two-way interactions. So continuously as a student, we ask the student uh, whether he understood the concept by having an interaction and an active teaching, so that it's nothing but asking student the questions in between, asking him to frame some problems so that he understood the concept or not, eliminating the misconceptions. As I told you, misconceptions are there where if you can, for example, to understand a particular definition, If you can clear him with a definition which is not satisfying, then he will understand that this is the right definition. These are the constraints which are given in the definition, you will understand. And building a confidence and clarity. So the teacher, when the Turito teacher, especially when we explain to a student, we have to build confidence in the student and clarity in what we are teaching. So, and in the last, we asked some questions so that he understood or not the complete session. That is very important. That gives the student confidence after the class that he can revise and make everything clear. Get motivation for both correct and incorrect answers. So let us suppose if we are asking a question to a student, if he gives correct answer, we praise him. But if he gives a incorrect answer, we can just, instead of discouraging him, telling them this way of direction, it is leading to an incorrect answer. So this is not the way of solving the problem. Please be clear at this point so that he will not make any mistake in future. And ditch the fear of maths by building interest. So that's what I told. Mathematics is an interesting subject. We have to love mathematics. So only by building concepts and solving problems regularly, having a practice, that will give you and a very good stuff in mathematics, and you love really maths. So let's discuss much.
Yeah, sir, we got some questions, sir.
Yeah. What are some max activities you may suggest to parents to conduct at home? The best way is nothing but for lower grades, I suggest the cards. For example, if you have cards, so make number cards 1, 2, 3 like this, and then ask the student which is a prime number, which is a composite number. So you can discuss by having some cards or activities where for example, addition activities. So addition activities, you can just write some questions of addition or subtraction or multiplication and give to the students to solve. That's how you can do activities at home. Or otherwise, for example, you went to a grocery, the whole calculation of what you purchased is given. So delete the total and give to the student so that he will solve it home mentally. Mental calculations will develop. So that's the one other activity you can do with it. Yeah, is it okay, Ravali? Shall I move on to the second question?
Yeah, sir.
Is parental involvement important in the child's progress in mathematics? Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is very important. So these days, actually, there are many things where the student get distracted. So it may be internet issues or phone or whatever it may be. The parent must be right sitting besides a child when he is doing homework. So one thing I want to suggest is never give the answers to the students, because the tendency of even a teacher and a child is giving answers to the child as soon as he is unable to do. So that is a wrong concept actually. Never give the answers or never ask the student to see the answer. Let him struggle with the question. When he struggles only, he will know his mathematical thinking will develop. So when his mathematical thinking develops, he will, at least one day or the other, he will be able to solve the problem. Thinking is needed, not that you have to do continuously some 20 problems or 30 problems. That is not needed. Mathematical thinking is needed. When the students think, they develop mathematics inside them. Mathematics is a language. It's like a language, like English, like any other language. It's a language. So easily see, if I say one apple and two apple, if I add what I'll get three apples. So here, this concept is apples. See, let us suppose a student doesn't know what is a billion. So if I'm adding 2 billions and 3 billions, so because of the language power, what he says is it is 5 billions, even though he doesn't know what I mean by a billion. So you can just say 2 plus 3 is 5. And this is billions. That is nothing but mathematical language must be understood by the student. Never give him the solution to the problem. If he is unable to do it, let him struggle with the problem. Okay, one thing that the parent or the teacher can sit with the child and they can do a collective work towards solving the problem. So as soon as the child lands on to the solution of the problem, he'll be very much impressed, even though it has taken a lot of time. But that type of thinking, when somebody develops, that is a real math he is getting it. And coming to the third question, how to help my child with math at home? Yeah, if he is in the lower grades, what you have to do is the fast calculations, which I told, give him problems based on fast calculations. If he is in lower grades, or if he is in higher grades, see whether the basic concepts of lower grades are understood properly. And then only you must move on to the higher grade problems. See whether the concept is understood by the student. Then only he can answer any type of problem. Otherwise, he can't solve problems. So concepts, whether they are understood by the student or not, there must be a real check. My child keeps forgetting formulae. Any tips to help him remember it? Yeah, this is a beautiful question. See, in whatever grade he is, maintain a formula book. What you have to do is write all the formulas of the particular topics which are coming in maths, in whatever chapters you are getting it. Have a formula book. Ask the student to write without seeing the formula. Have a correction. Wherever he has done wrong, what you have to do is again rewrite it, so that those wherever he has done wrong, those must be rectified. Tell him that he has to rectify. That would be the best tip. So if you keep on revising daily, one day he will not forget. This is how we learn actually from, let us suppose, English alphabets in the lower classes. So one day we learned about A, next day B, like that, C. So this year also is same. Let us suppose if the algebraic formulas are revised. What is A plus B time, A plus B to the 2? Say minus b to the 2. So like that, every day the formula revised and then writing on a paper and correcting it and rectifying the mistakes by writing once again. I think one day will come where he will not forget those formulas. But keep in mind that in whatever grade, either in higher grades or in lower grades, maintain a formula book so that he can revise the formulas in whatever chapter he gets, write the chapter name and write all the formula in that particular book. It becomes a formula book. How to introduce math new concepts to kids? Yeah, this is a good question. As I told earlier, so whenever you want to introduce a concept, for example, I want to introduce the concept of algebra. Now I say to the kid that uh, if I want to get one particular pen, it is $5. The same, another two pens of the same kind, if I want to purchase it, is $10. So three, it is $15. So like that, if I say, if I purchase 10, how much it will be? So then I will introduce a variable. If I purchase n number of pens, what would be my cost? Then you must say $5. So this is how you must introduce a concept to a student, by giving an example which is very much attaching to the real life word problems. So then the student will understand more. He will be thinking, and at the same time, it's nothing but playing a game type. So he will develop interest in the subject and he does wonders in his life. My child is in ninth grade and until now performed poorly in maths as he hates it. Any tips for him to improve his grades this year? Yeah, one point I can say that sometimes because of the teaching or because of not having interest is only because uh, not revising the concepts, not having the clear foundation in the lower grades, that may be a problem. The tips I can give is eliminate the misconceptions, whatever he has, by putting in some questions of eighth grade, seventh grade, sixth grade. So see where actually in which grade. Let us suppose he is doing addition very well, subtraction, multiplication. He knows what is a fraction. He knows what are decimals, what are uh, ratios, proportions, variations, everything. Then move on to the higher grades where the problem arises. Is it in geometry? Is it in algebra? Identify the part where he is lagging behind. And there, if you give immense support, the foundation of all the concepts, whether they are there or not, build concepts in that, then I think he will do very well in ninth grade. But in ninth grade, if it is a problem, we have to check with the concepts of the lower grades, whether he understood in lower grades or not. Maybe it may be a problem that the teacher told, but he didn't understand. Maybe some multiple things may be there because of the pandemic. Also, the student may not have followed properly. All these things are there, and we have to keep all these things in mind. Hating max is only because not knowing the subject. Once, if you see, no one is born intelligent in this world. So if you have a lot of hard work, I think he will not hate. When he understands the things easily, then he can adjust and he can do very well. But it will take time sometimes. How to manage time in competitive examinations? Yeah, this was a competitive exams like NAPLAN or SAT or whatever it may be. Let us suppose you have 40 questions. So in those 40 questions, first the easy questions, you have to answer them. And as you answer the easy questions, let us suppose out of 40, 10 questions were very easy, that if you do mental math, you can solve those problems, solve them. Then what happens is the rest of 30 maybe application mode or some more multiple concepts are used in those problems, which will take time to solve. So then never mind. The time management can be done because 10 problems you have solved within less span of time. For this, the remaining allotted time, you can keep to those problems. So time management is very important. And before going for any competitive examination, see that whether the kid has a practice of competitive exams or not. He has to answer at least a minimum 10 to 15 papers he has to do at home or in the institution, which is going wherever he's going. So see that he has answered those papers, where keeping the time management must be made. Let us suppose he's answering from home. You have to see that you have to keep time for him and then check whether he is doing properly. And not only managing time, I want to answer another thing, that whenever he is answering some 10 to 15 papers, he's preparing before an examination, see which problems were wrong in their particular paper, identify which chapters is not doing well. Maybe the concepts he didn't understood, or the approach to the problem, his approach is lengthy. What happened really, analysis of the paper is very important for a student. When he analyze a particular paper after doing the paper and go on to the next paper, so that analysis will eliminate the mistakes what he has done in his papers, and the main competitive examination he will do very well. Though my child knows the concepts, he makes a lot of calculation mistakes. How to avoid this? So for this, the answer is only practice. Sheer practice will eliminate this. This is chaos actually. So calculation mistakes are done by many students. So here they may be fast in putting the answers. So a recheck is needed for those students who are doing this. So they must have a lot of practice, not only practice. Let us suppose you have given some 10 problems to the child. After doing the 10 problems, ask the child to once again go through each and every problem, whether he has done, say, for every completion of an examination, rechecking is needed because of some fast, we want to do the problem, we have to complete the problem. In that, there's some carelessness will be there. So to eliminate that, calculation mistakes and carelessness, what we have to suggest is, so go through the paper once again in the last 5 minutes, with whether you have put correct answers or not. So that is very important. What should a 5-year-old know in max? Yeah, very good. So here a 5-year-old, actually the first teacher will be the parents at home. So for a 5-year child, he must be able to identify the numbers. Not only the numbers, for example, how many chairs we have at her home, ask the child to count. So like that, counting must be first started with the child. Counting, not only that, give him some pens, ask him how many pens are there, how many pencils are there, how many books are there at home. Ask him to count. So this is nothing but seeing and counting it. It's a practical example. So this develops a lot of thinking from the child right from 5 years, because some concepts we can't dump onto the student for a 5-year child. That's why the curriculums are designed accordingly, a primary level, a middle level, and a higher level. So we can't give a child with a higher level concept. So slowly you have to build up. So give him some coins, ask him to count, or give him some pens or pencils or books. Counting starts at home only. So counting or colors you give him and ask him to count how many colors are there. Like that, we can do it. Yeah. Any other question, Ravali?
Yeah, sir, we got two questions to management department. Priyanka will be answering those questions. Hi, Priyanka. One question: when will these classes are start? Is group coaching or individual coaching?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, Ravali.
Yeah, Priyanka, you are on mute. Please unmute and.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Yes, madam.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the classes are already going on, and the team will reach out to you, and they will schedule the demo sessions for you. And it will be totally one-on-one live interactive session. And yeah, we do provide a free demo session for mathematics. So the team will reach out to you within 24 hours of the webinar to schedule the demo classes for you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Priyanka. And thank you, sir. We will be ending the session now. And also we will have a webinar in the upcoming week also. We hope to see you all again. Until then, if you have any queries, please write us to at care@turito.com. For more info, please visit our website www.turito.com. And for better learning and better leisure, please join Turito. Thank you. Have a nice day.